Coming to you undead in Royal Oak, Michigan from the Echo Network Studios. This is your undead host of Odd Musings, Brett Pinson.
And I don't have a scary voice, so I'm just Scott.
Yes. It is our Halloween episode here.
Spooktacular.
Spooktacular. I think that's been copyrighted.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, and then you also have the town of Booville.
Yes, Booville, Michigan, as Belleville has been renamed, with all their scary scarecrows up and downtown.
It was officially renamed.
Yes,
when we went up there for Loringer's visit yesterday, the welcome sign, they changed it to Booville.
For the entire month of October.
Even the police car, they had a thing over the Belleville thing, and it said to protect and serve the city of Booville.
Yes.
So me and Ashley got a kick out of that.
Yeah, they started that a few years ago. It's a pretty cool little thing they're doing to have fun with the Halloween season. Mm-hmm. They do some trick-or-treating downtown. I'm not sure if they're doing it on Halloween or on the weekend. It's varied at times. Most of the time it's on Halloween, and all the businesses on Main Street have, we can go in and the kids can get candy and that.
Right.
So it's a fun, safe environment in that. Very as we'll be talking about later on during our show today, I have my tips from Uncle Brett on how to properly trick-or-treat.
Yes, so stay tuned for that exciting insight that Brett's going to
maximize your candy haul.
But first, you might have noticed a really cool thing in the background here.
Well, for those that can actually see us, unfortunately, we didn't have a Facebook Live video this morning. We're recording the audio, but we're doing the video for the YouTube. So our YouTube fans, hi guys! You've already subscribed, and if you're listening to audio, go subscribe to YouTube. As you can see on our banner here when you're looking at the video, we have our Odd Musings logo up behind us now, as well as showing all the locations where you can find all your fun Odd Musings take from us. Our episodes, our Following the Orville is available on YouTube. Probably should start ripping that audio and throwing it up on iTunes as well as bonus episodes.
Yeah, and this helps me too because my ever forgetful memory, I can now look and see what our actual addresses are for the various platforms. So we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, International Minute Press.
Yes, let me talk about them real quick.
Printing this up for us.
Yeah, International Minute Press. They are located in Plymouth, Michigan, where they design, print, and promote you. And they offer specialty printing services like the banner we have behind us. They do custom graphic designs, marketing consultation, and promotional products. IMP has the services and skills to help artists and entrepreneurs looking to take their businesses to the next level by exceeding client and customer expectations. Located at 1058 South Main Street in Plymouth, Michigan. Their phone number is 734-414-6203. That's 734-414-6203. Get a hold of them through their website, through our oddmusings.com page, where you can click through under the sponsors to go to them. And you can order things for your business, whether it's business cards, stationery, but they also do stuff for home, where right now it's coming up on the Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa season. They are doing holiday cards.
Now, when they say they design, print, and promote for you, is that like as in a sheep, EWE, or YOU?
It's YOU.
Oh, okay.
They are not a U.
You never know. I mean,
you're a bad boy.
I guess, though they wouldn't discriminate. They would gladly accept.
They do not discriminate against any type of sheep.
That's right.
Yes.
But thank you guys, as always. Great quality. The printing looks great. The stand.
Well, and besides our Odd Musings for using them, Scott and I both under our artwork will use them for printing our prints up that we take to shows.
Correct.
Things like that, and so we're using them fully. It helps that they're a sponsor, but we do happen to like Joe a little bit.
Just a little.
And he's going to be joining you in December when I'm off.
Yeah, he'll be taking up co-hosting duties.
Yes.
So looking forward to that.
Yep. So how was your weekend?
It was good. Mine was good, and last night was fun. My daughter recently turned 18, as we talked about on the show, and my gift to her was tickets to the Fall Out Boy concert. Ooh. So I went to that last night with her.
Was it like in a vault, and you had to escape and fight all kinds of radiated monsters and that?
Exactly. That was okay. Except the radiated monsters were teenagers. But it was a lot of fun. The opening act was Jaden Smith, which I am not a fan
of. Is that Will Smith's son?
Yes. dance.
I didn't realize he was actually out doing real music.
I made a comment to my, I don't want to rip on him, but it almost felt like we were there for a concert and somebody stormed the stage and was just doing their own thing. He had about 5 dance moves.
Okay.
That he used over and over again. He knew how to moonwalk. That's what I could tell from his performance.
So he didn't get his dad's talent. He was just doing funky dances.
Yeah, it's now, to be fair, there were definitely a lot of young teens who were liking his act. So, he definitely was not performing for me. But and then he was like the opening act.
Okay.
And then he only did like about 5 songs or something. And then Black Bear was the
I'm not familiar with Black Bear.
I never heard of them.
Okay.
Everyone there knew who they were. So if you're a teenager, I guess
I guess us guys in our 40s just aren't hip anymore.
Yeah. My daughter was, when we were first looking at the tickets and getting them, she was so excited when she heard Black Bear was playing.
Okay.
They were okay. They're not my thing, but they were good.
So is their hit song like, Smokey the Bandit is my homie or something?
No, I honestly, I couldn't quite understand the words. So I don't know what their hit song was.
That's
about.
the hardest part with live concerts is sometimes understanding what any of them are saying.
Well, I think part of the problem is whenever he would talk in the microphone to address the crowd, I don't think he understood the acoustics, and he went too fast, and I don't know if he had it too close to his mouth or what, but it was mumble. I'm like, what's he saying? but as far as the actual concert went, that was cool. And then Fall Out Boy came out. I will say they were excellent. They sounded just as good as any of their songs on the radio. There's a lot of their songs I do enjoy. So had a blast. Little Caesar Arena, that's our new arena here in Detroit. This was my first time going. I will say almost everything about it was really good. The atmosphere in there, everything was great, but the seating was awful. So tight, so small. My knees were like hitting the person in front of me where their head would be. Just way too small for that. Otherwise, the rest of the arena was great. The being able to see the stage clearly was nice. The outside was really nice. But a big part of going to an event is your seating area.
Right.
And if you're uncomfortable there, if I'm thankfully this event wasn't a sold out event. So we were able to move to a row where there was no people and I could stretch my legs out.
Well, and the thing is, those watching on our YouTube channel here, it's not like Scott's, I'm a bigger guy than Scott. And if Scott's that cramped, it's like, how is a guy like me going to sit in there? And the thing is that Scott's like 5'11", around 220. So he's about the average size of a male going to like a sporting event, with some bigger, some smaller.
Was tight. Now, I don't know if we were in the upper level.
Maybe that could be the cheap seats.
Yeah, maybe the lower level, they give you more room. I don't know. So we'll see.
Lisa, but I think, I think that sounds like a mistake on their part for designing. They should design all the seats to properly set people so they can be comfortable enjoying whatever event they're going to see, because it's not a huge arena. It's only like 22,000, 24,000 for hockey games.
Right.
So, or basketball, because both the Pistons and the Red Wings play there. So
correct. So, but like I said, that was good. And then this weekend, you were at the Grand Rapids Comic-Con.
I was over in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I like that side of the state. It's a completely different area from here in terms of how everything looks and moves and things like that. I've done the show a couple of years now, and had fun. Got to see a lot of people I like over the weekend. It's one of those shows, being a decent-sized Michigan show, that I know a fair amount of people set up there, so I get a chance to catch up with people I haven't seen in sometimes a few months, sometimes even a year. And
it's nice when we get to do shows that it's not a 16-hour drive.
Right.
And
it was 2 hours from my house to drive up there.
That's nice.
I was home within about an hour and a half, almost an hour, about an hour just after by tea, but before Walking Dead, and that, so I got a chance to watch that live, and then but I had a good time. Got to see Rachel and Doug Boggs, formerly Rachel Kaiser. Saw them out there. Saw her parents. I grabbed lunch with them before the show started on Friday, and then
it's always great to see her. She's such a nice person.
Yeah, they're wonderful people.
Always a pleasure to talk to. I can't imagine her being mad. She's like always so happy.
I think if she does get mad, it's very subtle, but I'll be worrying about the explosion and that. Got to see Rebecca, who does the Ruppets. Love her puppets. In fact, I commissioned her over the weekend. She's going to be doing a Carl puppet for me, a Ruppet. Real excited. Carl's my rabbit, for those that are listening, for my Adventures of Carl series at my comic books. And that. Ran into like Heather Schilling, who does some really cool artwork with a knife, where she actually carves on the stuff, paper and things like that. Dominic was there running a booth for a buddy of his, so I unfortunately had to see him because he was staying with me. And and then a bunch of other people. I keep going. Source Point Press was there. Chatted with them a little bit. Trying to think of anybody else I saw. There had some celebrities. I didn't really get a chance to talk to any of them, but I did see Kevin Sorbo. He wasn't too far from me. I said Rob Miller was there with his. He was on Face Off, and he had his all his props that he's built over there. He's got his giant Hulkbuster that was there. His version of the Game of Thrones chair, which they took over to one of the celebrities that was there. That was on Game of Thrones. He was also was it General Veers, the one that commanded the AT-ATs from Empire Strikes Back?
Yep. Julian Glover.
Julian Glover. Yep, he was there, and they took over. I saw that online. They had a picture with him made. And
my Star Wars geekdom paid off suddenly.
Yeah, he was there with Billy D. Williams. I did see Billy D. for a quick second, and that. So they had a decent guest list. Had a lot of fun. Fans were a lot of fun, and had a good time. And then it's going to be home because I'm getting ready to head out to Akron and all that. But that's kind of what I did this past weekend. And after the show last week, it was all prep, getting ready for the show. And since I got back, it's been running around, taking care of all the errands I got to do, and getting ready for another show this weekend. So
and we'll talk about that at the end. But you'll be in Fort Wayne,
Indiana.
Awesome.
It's only a 3-hour drive, so it's not too far again.
That's not bad either. And then we didn't get a chance to talk about it earlier. We're not going to get into it now, but this was Walking Dead premiere week.
Right.
So in the upcoming weeks, people have been asking if we'll do an after the show type thing with that. We'll try to figure out what we're going to do on that.
We'll figure it out. We may do something during. I think we're going to save that for after like big episodes. We may pop online like the next day or so. We don't want to take anything away from the Talking Dead because I like to watch that too.
I don't think we can take away from.
You can't, but I mean, it's not like anybody really care to watch us. They might be like, "I'd rather hear you guys."
Chris Hardwick is really worried about us stepping into his ratings.
You do realize he's been trying to emulate you by growing that beard out.
It's only taken him 10 years to grow.
He's got like I do. It takes forever. I shaved this morning, and I really need to. Yeah, I better shave.
Your annual shaving.
I had like 3 days of growth. I had a hair.
Tweezers. I'm shaved.
Yeah. But so I just noticed that. But I like to walk the Talking Dead. I watched a little bit of that.
So
just to get insights into their episodes.
We'll definitely be covering the big episodes.
As it goes on. I mean, the first one really. The first episode of the season for Walking Dead to me is always one of the weakest. It's fun. I enjoy it, but it's just to get you back into that universe again and what they've got. What we may have missed in the time frame from last season to this season.
Now, one thing I will bring up too regarding that universe is there was Kirkman had teased that there will be a character crossing over between the two shows.
Yes,
and we think we know who the character is now because the finale of Fear the Walking Dead, they mentioned they're heading to Texas.
Yeah, they're heading to Houston specifically.
Right,
they said
and
Houston.
We know that's where Abraham is from.
Right,
which would be a nice way to bring a much-loved character back to the show.
Yeah, he actually, of all the deaths, I think he's the one that people are still the most upset about. Besides Glenn. I mean, Glenn's a big deal, but for those that follow the comic, it was kind of expected, but Abraham was like, wait a minute, so it'd be kind of cool to see him move over to Fear the Walking Dead for a couple seasons.
Correct. So we look forward to these coming weeks. Unfortunately, hopefully I can... Well, if I do watch it in France, will it be in French?
Well,
speak English. I'm an American.
Well, maybe you'll be able to do some tricks on your phone.
Wonder how well that will work.
Maybe you'll be able to log in on your phone and watch it from over there through the Wi-Fi.
So I'll have some catching up to do when I get back home so I can talk about it. But another thing I did this weekend, I rewatched Stranger Things.
Oh, man.
Season 1 because this week.
Yeah. It's Friday. You're going to be in France still.
I know. Everything's happening.
I don't leave till I'm going to leave about midday on Friday. I'm going to probably get up early and at least watch a couple episodes.
Yeah. But rewatching it, I really loved Stranger Things, but like I told you, and you rewatched it.
I did a couple months ago. I went through the whole thing again, and it's one of those series that is 8 episodes, so it's not very long. But at the same time, you'll get going into it, and like 4 hours goes by. You're halfway through, and you're going, "Oh man, I got to take care of some other stuff," but you don't want to quit watching.
Yeah, I really forgot how good season 1 was. I remember it being a 10 out of 10, like I told you, but rewatching, I'm like, no, this was a 12 out of 10. This was like amazing.
Yeah, no, it's the thing I liked about it is it drew me in initially for all the nostalgia. It was a great story, and then going back and rewatching it, it's like I missed half the episodes I watched because I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot about that. Here's this little nugget. Here's this little Easter egg. Yeah. Here's a little bit here and I understand better now.
I wonder how much of it is these small things that I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Or is it just because I now know the story, rewatching it, these little things stand out?
I think there's a lot of both in that because there's little nuggets that you didn't understand that you picked up later on, the foreshadowing, little nods to different things. And then when you go back and understand the story more, what it really impacted means.
Right. It was great. So now it worked. I am hyped for season 2 to come out.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I don't know anything as far as spoilers go. I haven't been tracking any of that.
I've stayed off of all that. I see tons of articles. They want to speculate. And while we could give our irresponsible speculation, I'm not going to because it's too good of a series to mess with.
The only thing I noticed, which I'll say, is the movie poster they released. I do see a new character on that poster.
Yes, and I saw something the other day. She's on it, and she's a new addition to. Yeah, I don't think she's part of our core group. Or
my guess is she's going to be an arch nemesis.
I'm thinking she might be that, or she's tied in with the older sister.
The older sister.
Yeah, the sister was looking for
Katie. Are you talking about?
Yeah, he had the one boyfriend and the sister. He had the jock kid.
I'm lost.
Okay, Barb's best friend.
Oh, Nancy.
Yeah. I think that she may be tied in with her somewhere.
They have an older sister missing?
No.
What are you talking about? I'm confused.
Well, she needs a new best friend because Barb's dead.
Oh, I see what you're saying. My theory is she'll be like 11 is number 11.
Yeah.
I'm thinking because this girl looks older.
She's 12?
No, she's older
or 10.
looking. I think she's number 1.
Number 1.
I think she'll be the original or the Katie that was missing. I always assumed 11 was the Katie, the girl who was missing from the mom who didn't talk.
I thought they had dealt with that in the last season with the kid actually did die.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't.
You talking about the sheriff's kid?
No. Remember there was an original girl who was missing and they went and visited the mom?
Right, yeah.
I assumed 11 was Katie.
I think it is.
Well, but they never wrapped that up.
Well, I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out on Friday.
Or could this other girl be Katie, or will this girl be? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out on Friday then. At least I will.
Well, you will. I won't. I will have to wait till.
Well, you'll have Wi-Fi over in Paris. You could probably stream your Netflix from your phone. So
that's another thing. Will that work? Or will I get French Netflix over there?
I think you have to try it and find out.
And it's like 120 shows about cheese.
No, that's if you're in England.
Oh, is that England?
Yeah, that was England. France. Yeah, European vacation. They were in. Yep. They were in London. And everything was about cheese.
It'll be about some other French.
French would be all about like wine.
Wine. Yeah, I know nothing about wine either.
And croissant.
But on that note, we got other awesome things to talk about.
Well, of course, speaking about Stranger Things, our sponsor, T-24, they have a new Stranger Things shirt. 11 lives.
11 lives. So, if you want to go see what that looks like, go to their social media. They got T-24 is their on Facebook, TEEMINUS24, where you can see pictures of it. It looks really good.
Yep. We shared it on the Odd Musings Facebook page as well.
Yep. And so you'll like it, I guarantee. Yep. And they also have a new shirt also they released. They have a t-shirt. They have this travel series. Actually, I'm wearing the Tatooine one. If you were watching on YouTube, you'll see it. They look like travel postcard type things. Yep. And I'll have some slogan. They have one for Hoth as a t-shirt. Well, they just released it as a heavier long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, limited quantities.
Yes. So if you do want it, go get it. It's long sleeve. It's a sweatshirt. And looks
I think it's more like just a long sleeves t-shirt, but it looks like a little bit heavier material. It's not a full sweatshirt.
Okay. So go check that out, and you'll see. read the description there and you'll know exactly what it is.
Yes.
But T-24 is a creator of unique pop culture t-shirts and vinyl decals. At T-24.com, you'll find over 140 graphic tees and hundreds of vinyl decals based on your favorite movies, TV shows, comic books, and video games. So go to their website at T-24.com. That's TEEMINUS24.com. And check out their fun selection of products. And after you find something you like, use coupon code ODD, ODD, at checkout to get 10% off your entire purchase. Shipping is included in that, free shipping. You can also follow T-24 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where they post about their latest designs, like the 11 Live shirt, and share updates from the conventions they attend. Shirts to fit your fandom. And they'll be at Akron Comic-Con in a couple weeks with us.
Yeah, a week from this coming Friday, so it'll be in November. The first week in November, we'll be at Akron together, hanging out, having fun, and looking forward to seeing them because we haven't seen them in a while. And
Oh, and I also have to give a shout out to the amazing Vincent Genevieve. How do you pronounce Genevieve. I can never say his name right.
Genevieve.
He's with T-24 there. Him and Lisa sent me an awesome birthday present, and it's the original hand-drawn artwork of Spider-Gwen that Vinny did when we were at Akron last year.
Oh, that's awesome.
The one that looks like Spider-Gwen fell off a building, plunged to her death, and was now crumpled on the ground.
She looks like a chalk outline.
So he mailed that to me as a birthday present.
That's awesome.
It is.
See, he gave me an awesome birthday present this year too.
I got a cool one. Yeah, but mine is priceless.
I know.
No one will be able to afford to buy mine.
Vinny's an awesome guy. So is Lisa.
Vinny is
love
awesome.
them.
Love them both.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see them, hang out with them, do some dinner with them one night, and maybe we'll try to do an interview with them just to have a little fun. And if they're staying in our hotel, I don't know where they're staying at this year, so we'll have to find out.
They're staying at the same hotel they did last year.
Well, I don't know what it was. I don't think it was ours or not. Was it ours?
We were in the same hotel as them last year.
Then the same one, yeah. We're at the Courtyard too. So
okay, so Vinny, if you're listening, because he asked me and I said I have no idea. Ask Brett.
Yep, I made sure we were there because Sean Forney's going to be there. Josh Warner, Warner, was supposed to be there, but I heard he had to cancel this past week, so he's not going to be there. I don't know if Jay Fife is staying there or not, but he's supposed to be there. We're going to talk with them about their upcoming Kickstarter, and we'll talk with T-24.
Yeah.
We'll try to get a couple interviews with everybody again, just to update everybody on what's going on this year as they're getting ready to head into the holiday season. Because remember, buy a t-shirt online at coupon code ODD, and it's good for Christmas and Kwanzaa. It's good for birthdays, and it's good if you just need a cool new t-shirt.
Yeah, and buy up now.
Of course,
awesome stocking stuffers and gifts.
Yep, and of course you can get one and wear it around as your Halloween costume.
Speaking of Halloween,
yes,
this episode is about Halloween, so we should probably move on to that.
Yes, our undead hosts have returned.
And it's pretty interesting, the origins of Halloween, because it's such a commercialized holiday now.
Yeah, now you did a little research on the history of Halloween. So,
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we call this segment, Scott did research.
Yes, I went to the Google Webs.
The Google knows all.
And came across the History Channel's website with a really, I won't get into the in-depth thing, but if you are interested in the full article, it's like 5 pages long, go to history.com and look up the history of Halloween. That's where I got this information from. But you always hear about how it was All Saints Day or All Hallows Eve, but the origin actually goes farther back.
Okay.
It goes back about 2,000 years to the Celtic festivals that they are the Celts, with their Celtic festival called Samhain, which is interesting because it's spelled Samhain.
Okay.
So somehow it's...
Well, that's the Celtics are from what part of the world?
Ireland.
There you go. So they're probably Gaelic is the language, and the Gaelic language is...
I know. Evidently the Gaelic language likes a lot of extra letters that you don't say in the word.
Well, it sounds about right if you look at some of the old spellings on Irish stuff. So,
and it probably goes with the accent. Saying it in English, we're probably greatly hacking it up. But anyways, so about 2,000 years ago, what happened is they celebrated their New Year November 1st of each year. That was the start of the new year. And so October 31st was their New Year's Eve.
So they weren't on the Roman calendar yet.
Correct. And at that time they were on their own
Yeah, the Romans hadn't invaded Britain yet.
Exactly. So what happened there is they would mark this event with a festival called Samhain, and during this festival, they believed it was also a time when the undead world and the living world, the veil between them became thinnest, and souls could cross over into our world. So that's what they believed, and they also believed that these ghosts, they were partly responsible for the killing of the crops as winter moved in.
Oh, okay.
They believed these ghosts were causing trouble and damaging crops. And so the Druids and Celtic priests would... they also believed this was their time of year where they could most clearly make predictions, because the Druids and the priests would tap into those undead and talk to them to predict what the coming year would be. So that's pretty interesting. And they would have bonfires and all these things. And then it wasn't until 43 AD when the Roman Empire came in, and that's where Christianity started moving into it. And one of the things the Romans would do is when they took over a people, they liked to allow them to maintain their traditions while also making them Romans at the same time. So they blended their cultures with Celtic cultures, and the Pope at the time they still wanted them to be able to celebrate that time of year, but they also wanted to bring Christianity into it, and that's when they turned it into All Saints Day, also known as All Hallows Eve. They also called it All Hallow Mass, and stuff like that. And that part becomes more familiar. And finally, in America, as immigrants came over to this country and brought their traditions with them, that's where the trick-or-treating and all these different traditions came over too. But I'm not going to get into all that, because we're going to talk about our own experiences and traditions with our families. But it is interesting, so go to history.com, check it out. A lot of information in there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very interesting. I think it's the history of anything that we celebrate, whether it be, no matter what it is, whether your background is, both of us as Christians, of course, when you like Christmas, part of that is because of celebrating the birth of Christ. But there's so many other traditions associated with it that were kind of absorbed into it as everything's come about over the centuries, really.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's kind of cool to see that about Halloween, that it goes back more than what a lot of people think. They refer back about 125 years or whatever. It goes way back for other traditions.
Yep.
It's changed drastically over the years, but it's still a lot of fun stuff with it.
Now, one thing I know from my costuming experience with the 501st is when you get into elaborate costumes, you could be pretty sore.
Yeah.
From all this walking around and hiking around the neighborhood and all these things. But one of our sponsors can actually help you with that.
Well, yeah, that would be Loringer Family Chiropractic. So after you're done trick-or-treating next week, get a hold of them and say, hey, I'm sore because I was walking everywhere.
Yeah, make use of their massages.
Ate too much. Yeah, you can get a massage. You can get adjusted. But basically, at Loringer Family Chiropractic Center PC, they do take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient. As you know, I'm a patient there, as well as Scott's daughter Ashley is a patient with them right now. And on site, they offer digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. Give them a call at 734-697-4244. That is their Belleville, Michigan location. They also have a location in Dexter, Michigan. And if you happen to not be in that area, give them a call anyways at that 734-697-4244 number and say, hey, I hear you guys are great. Who can you recommend in my area? And they can try to find someone in your area that can help you out as well as they would. You can find a link to their website, LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com, at oddmusings.com under our sponsors page. So definitely check out Loringer Family Chiropractic.
So with Halloween is the time-honored tradition of trick-or-treating.
Yes.
What memories do you have of growing up, and what made Halloween for you?
I remember trick-or-treating. If people talk to Mom, when I was real little, I remember she took me out, and then we did like 3 or 4 houses. I was done, and I wanted a Happy Meal.
Yes.
3 or 4 years old, that's hey, I got me some candy. I get a Happy Meal? Great, let's go get a Happy Meal. And that was more exciting, and then I was probably knocked out by 8:30 or whatever. And then then as you get older and you do a little trick or treating, did some of that, 5, 6, 7 years old, starting into that, going sometimes with cousins to different areas and trick or treating or your neighborhood. Where I grew up at was a manufactured home community, and for a few years there, they actually closed off the park, wouldn't let anybody in from outside, and the entire park basically had a party, and they'd have it up at the clubhouse, and then in the back of the place, like a storage place, they would set that up, and the teenagers would do the haunted house. So
that's cool.
So all the kids would go through, and the teenagers try to scare you on that, and it was all set up by the park, and then everybody donated candy. So when you left, you had a huge bag of candy. I mean, everybody got a ton of candy. It was good candy too. It wasn't like, here's your little piece. No, it was like full size candy bars. Good stuff like that. Good pieces of candy. Had fun with that. They'd have
you must have been them rich folk over there.
Yeah, in the trailer park. Okay. Hey, but when you're buying for just a set group, you're not having to buy for 100. No, but when you're a kid,
like I remember with trick or treating, like the house that gave away the big candy bars were like, ooh, they must have money.
Now I did that a few places. I remember as a kid going up to one place, and the guy answered the door, and looked like he had just come from not from a Halloween party. He looked like he was wearing probably a suit, but I thought it looked more like a tuxedo because it was black. And he was like, oh, hey kids, and he whips out the basket, full size candy bar here. Yeah, we're like, cool, we gotta hit this place again.
And you're like, we're not egging that house.
No. In fact, I'll have some tips for you guys in a minute here, but I'll be telling you how to maximize that.
That's right.
But that's one of the things I did. I trick or treated pretty much through high school, where I lived at. And,
any particular costumes you remember that you did?
I was a ghost. I tried to be a Ghostbuster one year.
Would you make your own, or were you?
We would make our own pretty much. Once in a while, we would buy, when I was real little, we would buy the old 70s ones. They were all plastic. You had a plastic mask, and then you're dripping sweat out of them because they.
Those old rubber masks,
breathe.
Especially like to this day.
These are the plastic front ones with a little rubber band.
The pure plastic, yeah.
And they were smashed against your face. Couldn't see, couldn't breathe.
And you take it off, and it's all sweating.
Yeah, you're like, ugh. I mean, I'd have those every year. The one year, I believe I had the one. You remember they had those creepy creature ones, and you'd blow it up, and it'd be on the headpiece would be the alien, and then you'd have the regular bottom part. And it was a little different. I had that one year, and then we tried stuff, different dress ups, different like that. So we'd always have fun with that. Sometimes just get a mask and run out with that. So. Nice. So that was always fun. How about you?
For me, we moved a lot when I was young. So I recall trick-or-treating vaguely up through 5th grade. After that, we had moved out to New Hampshire. So in 6th grade, I was out there, 6th and 7th grade. Out there, like, your next neighbor is like a mile away. It's like we had like 3 houses on our street. And so I kind of stopped trick-or-treating at that point. If there was something at school or something I do. But so I didn't really trick-or-treat anymore as I got older, because then when we moved to Michigan, it's just at that point I stopped. But I don't recall any specific costumes, but I do remember trick-or-treating, and one of the things I did was one of your tips you're coming up with, so I'm going to hold off on that. But it was really good. But one of the interesting perspectives I have is, through my daughter, is looking at Halloween when I was a kid versus as a parent. I think I actually enjoy it more as a parent and watching as she grew up. Now she's older, but being a stormtrooper and stuff, and I get requested to trick or treat with people too. So like growing up with Ashley, I took her out. We would dress her as a pumpkin, and when she was like under 4, we would get only like 3 or 4 houses, and then she was tired and like, oh, that's enough. And we're like, no, you got to keep going because we need candy. When you have the kid, the parent relies on the child to get that candy so I could eat it.
You're like, oh, full size Hershey bars. Yeah, we're coming back.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like that one? I'll take that one.
I better check that one for razor blades.
Yeah, let me eat half of that and make sure. But and then as she got older, it became very fun, especially like, I don't know, ages like 6 to 9 was probably like the prime time. And then she outgrew that, and she still would go with her cousin stuff. But then we always had younger family, so they was like, oh, Scott, can you wear your stormtrooper and go with them? And like one year, I had good friends of mine. Their kids were at that prime age, and they were getting into Star Wars, so I went went and trick-or-treat with them. And I just escorted them, but they were the coolest kids on the block. Everyone's like, you have a stormtrooper.
See, that's the fun part.
I became an accessory.
For many years, up until just a few years ago, my cousins would come to where I live at now, and because we had a good area to trick-or-treat then, and we'd cook dinner for them, and then they'd take the kids out and they'd be gone for hours. I'd sit outside, and we'd have the house decorated outside and things like that. And I loved seeing all the kids come up with their costumes, the little kids especially. They were funny, and I'd make them walk the long way up the driveway. It's not a huge one. I don't think it's like a mile. It's just I live in a manufactured home park, so I'd make them walk all the way up to the end. And the only rule I had was one, you got to be in some type of costume. Number two was you have to say trick or treat. And I'd have these kids come up and they just look at me. I'm like, well, you got to say it. And once you get a kid that you could tell was really shy, and I'd make some exceptions, but it was usually the middle school kids to teenage, high school kids that were trick or treating. They just walk up and stick the bag. I was like, no, you need to say it. I'd force them to. I was like, I was like, if you don't do it, you don't get anything.
That's my pet peeve about trick or treating is the kids who don't even. It's like you get these kids who show up and they're not even like they're in street clothes.
Yeah.
And they even want to say trick or treat. It's like, no, come on, you got to earn this.
Yeah.
Come on.
You got to have at least a good mask, and that leads me into my tips a little bit here because I'm going to teach you kids.
Pay attention, people. Yes. This comes from years of trial and error.
Yes. These are your Halloween tips from Uncle Brett. First of all, your costume. I recommend, being in the Midwest here, it's going to be a little chilly, so you can get away with this really good. You got to wear a good pair of jeans, have some good sneakers. You're going to need a total of 2 masks per person, 2 hoodies per person, and 2 pillowcases. And the reason is you're going to put on your first costume, and you're going to start making your way around the neighborhood. Now, it's always good to plan ahead. You want to don't just run anywhere. You want to plan your path on where you want to go. And if you have prior experience trick-or-treating in that area, you should know where the good stuff is. And you want to make sure you hit that place at least 3 or 4 times. And the best way to do it is after you make your way through the first time, you know where they're at. Have a little notebook in your back pocket and you're looking at, write down these addresses where these good places are. If you got Mildred handing out the candy bars that are full-size Hershey's, you got to hit Mildred a few times. That's where having the mask and some buddies come into play. So what you got to do is you get your buddies. I recommend at least 2 of you together, if not 4. You don't want to have too many because too big of a crowd sets off alarms. They realize you're going to come back again and hit them up with too many people. And if everybody has a couple masks and hoodies, after you make your way around that first time, you drop the first sack down, you grab another sack, you switch up the masks. The beauty of it is, as you're going together, you go and hit those prime spots again, and then everybody just switches up masks with the hoodies, and it'll never look like the same kid over and over. You can hit these places 4 and 5 times. You're going to maximize your candy. You're going to come home, your parents are like, my God, where'd you get all this from? And you're going to have full-size candy bars, you're going to have the good gum, you're not going to have the garbage because you didn't hit them again. And if someone's throwing out dollar bills, you're hitting them at least 27 times because you need that money. But that's stuff that, as a growing up, that we used to do. We used to change up our costumes. We would go around 2 and 3 times, and and pillowcases are the best way to get the candy. And the reason is, 1, they're soft. You can flip them over your shoulder and tie them so it doesn't go falling out, and you don't want to drag it. You don't want to be like Charlie Brown and you open it up and there's nothing there because all your candy fell out. Or like Carl from My Adventures of Carl comic book, because we did a Halloween issue in that one too. But the more you can get out there, the more candy you can have, the better you're going to be. And keep in mind, Uncle Brett likes good Hershey bars. Get them Hershey bars. Send it to Odd Musings. We'll eat them on air. But that's my tips from your Uncle Brett here on how to Halloween and trick-or-treat properly.
So there's Brett's how to scam.
It's not a scam.
But
this is high-level begging.
Now, I will say another tip I would give.
Yes.
Now, this is a little more risky, but it involves perfect timing because I don't know about where you live, but where we live, there's a start and end time with 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
We have start and end times, but I believe you guys have it set up like The Purge.
Yeah, they actually set off the tornado sirens to let you know when you can start.
The Purge is now commenced.
And they set off the sirens for when you have to stop. But there's a sweet spot towards the end where the people who are handing out candy may have overbought.
Yes.
So when you get to their door, they just want to get rid of it. So then they're like, at the beginning of the night, they're like, just take one because
right, they want to make sure it lasts.
Right, but you show up 15 minutes before the end, they're like, take it all here.
Yeah, see, that is a great tip, and you got it. That's why you want the extra sleeping bag or pillowcases,
right,
for the candy.
Yeah, so you might hit some really big scores there. And for those handing out candy, don't be the person who gives out a penny or what are some of the... I hated that.
Or Bit of Honey. Remember Bit of Honey? That was the most garbage candy in the world.
Who ate that?
Get good candy. I mean, worst case scenario, I will give out... I like the Dum Dum suckers, especially for the little kids.
Yeah, little kids.
I always get I don't get just regular like Tootsie Rolls. I get the flavored Tootsie Rolls. I like some stuff like that. And the good Tootsie Pops. Stuff like that.
See, I always hated those.
Oh, see, I always like those. And then... If anything, if you can't do the full size candy bars, get the miniatures.
Yeah, miniatures
are awesome. But get something tasty. I mean, if the thing is if you wouldn't eat it, you shouldn't be handing it out.
Now, I will say, I would dread at the time. Now I'm older. Now I like them, but at the time I dreaded Almond Joy.
Well, I still don't like it because I don't like coconut.
Yeah, but as a kid especially. But my mom liked it, so she didn't mind Almond Joys in there because she could take them.
Yeah.
Or white chocolate. I dreaded when I got white chocolate. Who gives white chocolate?
See, I'm not a fan of the Almond Joy. The Bit of Honey was garbage. I'm not a Milky Way fan.
Toblerone.
Yeah. Actually, Toblerone was pretty good, though. It was weird. I was like, what's this? Oh, no.
What is
you open
this?
Up, it's chocolate. Yay.
It's like, I thought they only gave that away on the game shows.
Of course, nowadays, I do really worry about that Milky Way. Have you seen the commercial of the girls doing the tattoo? And the guy goes, no regrets. She goes, I was eating a Milky Way.
Yeah.
So I realized Milky Way makes you stupid.
Could be. But,
you'll have regrets.
Exactly.
But we don't have any regrets when it comes to our final sponsor, Chubby Duck.
Yes.
Which is a great way to get food when you can't be trick-or-treating and getting your food that way.
That's right. Last but not least, the Chubby Duck Detroit. Located in the heart of Detroit, Chubby Duck Detroit is working to bring the freshest local ingredients together with a little Motown soul to create a new and sustainable food tradition that everyone can afford to enjoy.
Yes.
So go on Facebook, look up Chubby Duck Detroit, and see pictures of their fine food.
Including their new ramen bowls they've got out now.
Yeah, that's their kind of like their winter menu.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something to keep you warm in the coldness of Detroit.
Yep. And from what we hear, it's good. We haven't tried the ramen bowls yet, but we've tried many of their other dishes.
Yes.
And very delicious. I definitely recommend them and can't say enough about them.
Yep.
So.
No, definitely go check out Chubby Duck Detroit. They're awesome.
And if you have a sushi fan, maybe you can get, I believe they do sell gift certificates too.
Yep. And then they're open 11 to 7 Monday through Friday, but they do special hours for events, so definitely check that out. And with not being but a few blocks away from the stadiums, they may do some special things as hockey games are going on, football games, things like that, and as well as basketball games because the Pistons are downtown now.
Yeah, so along with family traditions, there's also other traditions like movies, TV, other pop culture things.
And as I got older, coming up as a teenager through the 80s and then college in the 90s, you get together with all your friends on Halloween and you watch scary movies. That's always a Halloween tradition. And that, but something I've always kept up as a kid is I still love all the fun Halloween specials.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the scary movies in a bit, but as far as purely what are for you, what's Halloween to you? Like what Halloween themed movies?
Well, Halloween to me, first of all, is it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
I have to watch it every year. In fact, I was looking on my Facebook 2 years ago. I was with my mom and my sister and my nephew Elijah. We did a few days at Universal Studios, and the one night after we were done at the studios, I went down by the pool and they actually projected it up on a screen out by the pool.
That's cool.
So it was like 75 degrees outside. You could be in the pool, but I wasn't. I was sitting out on the deck where they had it, and I watched the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Along with they had some other Charlie Brown shows after it. They basically put a DVD on and played it.
Right.
And the DVD had a bunch of other like Halloween themed special little mini episodes that they've done over the years.
Now with the Great Pumpkin, that's it's Linus who's out there waiting, isn't it?
Yeah. It was originally a cartoon strip that Charles Schultz did long before the special, and the special came out after they did the Christmas one. They decided to do a Halloween one, And Linus believes, though nobody else does, that on Halloween, the Great Pumpkin flies around and finds the most, I believe it's honorable pumpkin patch. And he rides there, and he's supposed to bring presents and gifts and stuff like that. So Linus always goes out to his pumpkin patch to wait for the Great Pumpkin, and he doesn't go trick-or-treating. And then the episode is basically Sally comes out with him, and she's, of course, because she's in love with Linus, and she wants to support her man.
Right.
And then you get the rest of the Peanuts gang going out trick-or-treating. Most of them they're all kind of dressed as ghosts, but some have masks over their ghost faces.
And he's mocked by all the rest for believing in the Great Pumpkin.
Right, yeah. His sister Lucy always gives him a bunch of crap about it. And so I can't believe you're doing this again. So obviously when we see the episode, this has happened before.
Lucy has no redeeming qualities. She really doesn't.
She's very upfront and brutally honest on her opinion. And she does not hold back at all.
No.
But it's her little brother, so, and she doesn't want to be embarrassed because, just like a lot of young girls, they don't want their little siblings, cramping their style.
Right.
And that. But, you've got the episode. You also got Snoopy sneaking off, fighting the Red Baron. That's also part of this the special in that. But that's one of my traditions. I have to watch It's the Great Pumpkin and Charlie Brown. They usually will re-air it on Halloween night. I try to catch it then if I haven't already caught it during the week. I've already watched it once. I'll probably watch it again before next week because I just really enjoy that one. It's always a lot of fun.
Cool.
And I even did some artwork based on Great Pumpkin. I mixed it with that movie Trick or Treat with Sam.
Nice.
So
very cool.
That was always fun. What about you?
For me, growing up, every year I had to watch The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's from Disney. It's Disney and Bing Crosby worked together on this. It's from 1949. I didn't realize it went back that far. But to this day, that's the Halloween story to me.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of it, too, was growing up in New England, that takes place in New England.
Right.
So I think that helped make it more real to me because, I was always playing in the woods in New England, and we would go up to Salem, Mass, and see where they have the things for the Salem witch trials and things like that. So I was always fascinated with this whole storyline of Ichabod Crane and what happened to him. It was pretty cool, and at the time it was a little scary. You know, when you're 6 years old, because with this particular cartoon, the characters are so goofy, and then when the Headless Horseman appears, he's a scary fella. Originally, that movie was supposed to be a full-length movie when they were doing it, but in the process of making it, they realized we don't have enough story for a full-length movie. So they decided just to make it a 30-minute short, and that's where they paired it up with some other things also.
The Wind in the Willows, I think, is part of it. Actually, it's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is what it ended up being.
Right. The Wind in the Willows was also, when they released it in the theater, they paired it up with Wind in the Willows. Are you saying that's the same story that you just named?
Yeah, it's called Mr. Toad, or Mr. Toad's Wild Ride starts the ride, but it's Wind in the Willows is the story. So.
Okay, got it. But yeah, and some interesting things from that is now what
I always like that one too. I think it's one of my favorite interpretations of the Sleepy Hollow legend.
What I find interesting in my research on this, and I rewatched the whole thing too. And I'm like, I haven't seen this in quite a few years. In the story, and along with I think the other versions we always see, the fate of Ichabod Crane is actually vague. They imply he dies by the Headless Horseman. He vanishes and no one ever sees him again. And what I came to find out is I've never read the actual book by Washington Irving, I mean. In the actual book, Ichabod Crane survives.
Okay. And
he goes on to become a lawyer and eventually a justice of the 10-pound court.
Okay.
So he does survive in the original story.
This takes place during the time of still British rule. So.
Correct. So I found that interesting that he survived, because every rendition I can think of, they imply he might have died or they leave it vague.
Yeah. Well, except for the Tim Burton one, Sleepy Hollow, he defeats the Headless Horseman, and then him and Johnny Depp plays it. Johnny Depp and him and the Christina Ricci character end up going back to New York because he was a New York detective. instead of a school teacher.
What I always found interesting about the Tim Burton one is you had the Emperor Palpatine in that one.
Yep.
You also had Count Dooku in that one.
Yep.
And you had Ray Park in that one, which is Darth Maul.
Yes.
So we had 3 Sith Lords in that movie.
3 Sith Lords and Captain Jack Sparrow.
And Captain, yeah. And what's funny is the actor Ian McDermott, who plays the Emperor in Star Wars. He's this evil villain in Star Wars, but in the Tim Burton one, he's like this scared, like, and he's such a different character in that one. So that was funny.
Well, I like that one. Now, another one I like that you weren't aware was a movie called Mad Monster Party.
Yeah.
And that's done by the Rankin Bass people that did the Rudolph and all those stop motion specials.
Yeah. And those are just such classics. So they're such classics. We now know from the Orville 400 years from now, they will still be watching Rudolph.
Yes.
So that's how good they are.
Yeah. Well, Mad Monster Party was basically a full-length film. It was 2 hours long. It was created because of the success of Rudolph and all these other specials that were just starting to happen around that time in the 60s.
Yes.
So it doesn't air very much. Last time I saw it on anything was Turner Classic several years ago.
I'm going to have to look that up because I love those movies. They're so well done.
It's one of those films where I like it. It can get a little slow in the middle of it and kind of drag on a little bit, so it's not action packed. But cool thing it's one of Boris Karloff's last roles, and he plays Dr. Frankenstein, which he had played before in the movies after he had been the Creature, some of the later Hammer films. And that
so he actually plays Doctor.
Yeah, he plays Boris Frankenstein.
They got
a few other people, but like Phyllis Diller was really popular back in the 60s. She's in it, and she plays like the bride of Frankenstein. But the little doll they make it's Phyllis Diller. And that. So it's kind of a cool thing. You got, I don't want to give away a story because it deals with all the monsters. You've got Dracula, you've got the Mummy, all the classic Universal type monsters are popping up in it. It's just a fun little movie to check out once in a while. And I try to watch it around this time every year. Kind of my viewing is I've got The Great Pumpkin, and then I like Mad Monster Party. My mom has always enjoyed, I enjoy it too, is the Worst Witch TV movie, which I don't think it's an hour long, if that. And it starred Fairuza Balk, who went on to be in Return to Oz and The Craft, Waterboy, and a bunch of other movies. She plays a young witch who's the worst witch. And the school she's at, and this is pre-Harry Potter, by the way. And these are based on novels that had been out in the 70s and 80s that were pre-Harry Potter. And the head of her school is played by Charlotte Rae, who is the house mom on Facts of Life and Different Strokes. She also plays her evil sister, who's another evil witch. And then the Grand Warlock is Tim Curry.
Cool.
So it's a pretty cool little special. I like that one. And then we mentioned about Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus is another one. Now, I never got into that one. You said you liked that one.
Yeah, I like Hocus Pocus.
That one has Bette Midler. Is
Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy as the Sanderson sisters.
Yep.
If you're an NCIS fan, the guy that plays McGee was in it as a teenager when he's a teenager.
Really?
Yeah, that's him that ends up being the one that had become the cat, I believe it was. Or something like that. One of the characters that was you don't see him till the end.
Yeah, another movie that pops out now. I didn't realize I never actually saw it till just the other night when I watched it.
Okay,
is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
You had never seen that?
I've seen parts of it. When I was watching it the other night, I realized I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched it from beginning to end. I've always seen different segments.
I love it.
So we watched that the other night, and me and Ashley were watching it, and so that's obviously another more modern classic.
The beauty of that movie is you watch it now, and then you get to watch it again at Christmas time.
Yeah, because it really
it's a dual holiday movie. Yeah,
the sequel, he actually saves Christmas, doesn't he? Or something?
No, they didn't do a sequel.
I thought there was a second one.
No, there was only Nightmare Before Christmas. He tries to be Santa in this one, and then at the end, it doesn't work out.
A sequel for some reason.
No. I think people would love if they did a really good sequel. It'd have to be really good because it's they've been releasing this one in theaters here and there. I don't know if it got released this year, but the last several years I saw they were releasing it again, and I keep missing it, but I definitely would like to see it on the big screen again.
Yeah, and we got a comment from Kevin Miner, who is going to be my traveling companion in the upcoming week here over in France. You had mentioned horror films. Actually, Boris Karloff was Universal.
Correct. He was with the Frankenstein movies.
Right. But Kevin chimed in saying he loves Corpse's Bride and also Hammer horror films.
Oh, Corpse Bride is great. That's another Tim Burton one.
You know what? I think that's the one that was in my head.
Okay.
I think that's what I was thinking about for a sequel.
Yeah,
but
and that one is a short one. It's barely 70 minutes.
Is it?
Yeah, but it was a good one, and it's one of those films you either really liked it or you walked out going, "Oh, I couldn't stand it." I personally loved it. The visuals on the puppets and the stop motion, it was fantastic.
Now we'll also give it a shout out to Kevin because he's got a really cool book coming up.
Yeah, we're both participating in it.
I might have the order wrong. Creatures and Creators, or Creators and Creatures. I forget.
I think it's Creatures and Creators.
He'll probably chime in and tell me the correct
one. And he's putting together a book. Basically, everybody talks about the stories themselves, but he's talking about the creators behind all our favorite creatures.
Yes, who are these people? You got the creator of Frankenstein, Mary Shelley.
Yeah, you got all the way from Alice in Wonderland. He's doing Charles Dickens. Because a lot of people don't realize, I mean, realistically, Christmas Carol is a ghost story.
Right.
It could be done at Halloween.
Or a time travel story, like we brought it up.
That too, yes.
And then, oh God, Cthulhu,
yes.
Lovecraft, thank you. So it's going to be really cool. Creatures and Creators, he just said. So check him out. You can look him up online. His last name is spelled Meinert, first name Kevin. And
we'll be sharing his Kickstarter once it launches.
Yeah, once that launches. But if you want to follow his art stuff, feel free to check him out. He does a lot of fun stuff with his Comic-Con art that he does. But he has various books he's done over the years.
Yeah, he did the Poe book and the Wizard of Oz one here recently.
I'm just a Poe boy, nobody loves me.
There you go.
That's what I think every time I hear Edgar Allan Poe. Or Poe Dameron.
Yeah, there you go. Poe Dameron.
And then you got the classic Halloween movies, or the more popular thought of horror movies, where you got like Halloween and Jason Voorhees and all those kind of things. But
and you can take any horror movie and make it a Halloween movie.
Yeah,
I mean that's part of the time you do that, and a lot of fun ones. But in terms of the typical monster ones, I don't mind a scary movie, but I like all the Halloween specials. I like a movie called The Monster Squad, which came out in the 80s.
And for all you youngsters out there who you live in the modern time of Halloween trick-or-treating, check out E.T.
Yeah.
Because I think the trick-or-treating scene in there really captures our childhood of what trick-or-treating was like.
That's what it felt like when we were growing up. Just getting dark, and then you just go out and trick-or-treating and hitting the neighborhoods. So a lot of fun on that.
Yeah, so that's it there. So we got to wrap things up here. So
I think this has been a fun Halloween episode.
Yeah. Halloween's always fun, and looking forward to
not too scary.
And this upcoming week, you'll be in Fort Wayne for
Fort Wayne, Indiana Fantastic-Con at their convention center downtown Fort Wayne there.
Yep. That should be. Hopefully, that's a good show. Neither of us have.
I've not done the Fantastic-Con Fort Wayne show, but I have done shows in Fort Wayne before,
and they support their show,
and they seem to. Hopefully, everybody comes out there. I'm looking forward to going back and visiting Fort Wayne again. In fact, I need to contact Kevin's wife, Brandy, and see if her and the kids want to get together for a meal after one on Saturday night. So.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. And then, as I said earlier, both Kevin and I will be on our way to France. We actually take off tonight.
Yeah, you guys are flying out late tonight. They're coming down by my house, going to drop them off the airport. And
Brett's going to feed us some of his home-cooked smoked
pork and mac and cheese.
Yeah, so we'll be eating that and getting full before we head to the airport tonight.
Yeah, and you get to go to France. You need some French fries.
Do they have French fries?
Yes.
Do they call them French fries in France?
Probably not. They probably call them chips.
I just want to get a quarter pounder with cheese.
It's called a Royale with cheese.
Exactly. I want to order.
I want a Royale with cheese. Because they don't know what a quarter pounder is because they're on the metric system.
Now, if you order a Royale with cheese, does Sam Jackson actually serve it?
Man, that's a tasty burger. You mind if I have a drink of your beverage to wash this down
I think
with?
there'd be some MFers mixed in with that tasty burger.
Yeah, there'd be a few. And you're not going to have me there, so you can't talk about the big brain on Brett.
I can still talk about the big brain.
But I'm not there. It doesn't work as well.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't go, look at the big brain on Brett eating his Royale with cheese and drinking his tasty beverage. Since I was not invited to go to Paris.
Kevin is my France expert because he has for his job, he goes out there a few times a year. In France, they call French fries frites. Fritz.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Putting on the Fritz. All right.
Maybe he'll get you some horse to eat too.
No, I will not eat that. I'm going to be avoiding meat.
Well, until next week when we get to hear about Scott's full exploits over in Paris and my trip to Indiana.
I wonder if I'll have an accent develop like how Madonna was suddenly British just by leaving for like a week.
Yeah, we'll see if you can even fake it next week.
But go on.
We'll be like, I have the French accent. I've come from France and I saw French fries and drank some Perrier.
I don't think you'll hear that from me.
Anything else, Scott?
Nope, that's it.
All right, Dominic, take us out. See you guys next week.